September 2023, the Las Vegas Strip. Thousands of slot machines spinning, hotel rooms booked wall to wall, billions of dollars flowing through the most surveilled buildings on Earth. Cameras track every card dealt, sensors count every chip. Facial recognition scans every person who walks through the door. And then a teenager made a phone call. 10 minutes later, all of it went dark. The slot machines died, hotel keys stopped working, guests couldn't check in. Elevators froze, ATMs went blank. The parking gates wouldn't open. One of the biggest casino empires on the planet was crippled. Not by some sophisticated nation-state hacker squad. By kids. This is the story of Scattered Spider. A crew of teenagers who took down MGM Grand and Caesars, then made the FBI look useless. It started on LinkedIn. One of the hackers, probably around 17 years old, found an MGM employee's profile. Name, job title, department, all public. All they needed. The hacker called MGM's IT help desk, the outsourced one. Pretended to be that employee, said they'd been locked out and needed a password reset. The person on the other end followed procedure, asked a few verification questions. The hacker answered them using details scraped from social media. Date of birth, employee ID format, manager's name, 10 minutes. That's how long the call lasted, and when it was over, the hacker had valid credentials to MGM's Okta environment. That's the system that controls who can access what across the entire company. From there, the hacker moved through MGM's network like they owned the place, and as far as the system could tell, they did. September 10th, 2023, MGM started detecting anomalies. By September 11th, they acknowledged a cybersecurity issue, but by then, it was too late. The damage spread across every MGM property, the Bellagio, Aria, Mandalay Bay, the MGM Grand itself. Staff handled slot machine payouts by hand, scribbling amounts on paper receipts. Credit card transactions went through those manual card imprinters from the 1980s. Nobody thought they'd ever touch one of those again. Guests waited hours to check in. Some got physical room keys that broke within minutes. Others got told to come back later. Reservation data vanished. People who'd prepaid for dinner got turned away because the system couldn't prove it. The outage ran 10 days before MGM got most systems back online. Full recovery took weeks. The hackers had torched MGM's entire Active Directory, the backbone of their IT identity system. The company rebuilt it from zero. The cost? MGM reported a $100 million hit to their quarterly earnings, plus another $10 million in consulting and remediation costs, for a phone call that lasted 10 minutes. Here's the part most people don't know. MGM wasn't even the first casino hit. Caesars Entertainment got breached weeks earlier, in late August 2023. Same technique. Social engineering and outsourced IT vendor. They got into the Caesars Rewards loyalty database, names, social security numbers, driver's licenses for a massive number of customers. The hackers demanded $30 million in ransom. Caesars negotiated it down to $15 million and paid. In crypto, their SEC filing said, and this is a direct quote, "We have taken steps to ensure that the stolen data is deleted by the unauthorized actor, although we cannot guarantee this result." $15 million for a pinky promise that hackers would delete stolen data. And the wild part? Most Caesars guests never noticed a thing. Systems kept running. The breach stayed quiet. MGM went the other direction. They refused to pay. The ALPHV Black Cat ransomware group, who Scattered Spider was working with, posted MGM on their dark web leak site. Claimed they'd stolen 6 terabytes of data. Made the whole thing public. 2 casinos, same attackers, opposite strategies. Caesars paid and kept the lights on. MGM stood firm and burned for 10 days. Neither option was good. The FBI calls them Scattered Spider. Microsoft calls them Octo Tempest. Mandiant calls them UNC 3944. Security researchers call them a nightmare. They're not a disciplined military operation. They're a loose crew of mostly American and British hackers. Teenagers, some barely old enough to drive. They organized on Telegram and Discord, part of a broader underground scene called the Com. Young English-speaking hackers into SIM swapping and social engineering. Some had ties to Lapsus, the crew that hit Nvidia and Rockstar Games. Their specialty was never code, it was people. They figured out that the easiest way into any company isn't through the firewall. It's through the human answering the phone at the help desk, SIM swapping, phishing pages that looked identical to Okta login portals, MFA fatigue attacks, where they'd spam your phone with authentication requests at 3 a.m. until you hit approve to make it stop. Not subtle, relentless. And their target list went way beyond casinos. Twilio, MailChimp, Reddit, Riot Games, Coinbase, over 130 organizations in a single campaign in 2022. For over a year, the FBI looked outmatched. These kids bragged online, bought sports cars with stolen crypto, and the feds couldn't close the net. But they slipped up. They always do. January 2024. Noah Michael Urban, around 20 years old, from Florida. Online alias Sosa, arrested for wire fraud and identity theft tied to SIM swapping. He'd allegedly stolen millions in cryptocurrency. June 2024, Tyler Buchanan, 22, from Dundee, Scotland, alias Tyleb, grabbed at Palma de Mallorca airport in Spain while trying to travel. Then in November 2024, the DOJ dropped the hammer. 5 people indicted: Ahmed Hossam, Eldin El-Badawi, 23, Joel Martin Evans, 25, from North Carolina, Remington Ogletree, 19, and a 5th member, a minor, who reportedly surrendered to a juvenile detention facility. A kid walked into juvie and turned himself in for being part of the crew that brought Las Vegas to its knees. Las Vegas is a city built on control. Cameras cover every square inch of a casino floor. Algorithms count cards in real time. Chip movements are tracked to the penny. Facial recognition runs on every person who walks in. Billions spent on physical security. Cameras that track every dealer, guards that watch every exit. And the thing that brought it all down was a teenager on a phone, pretending to be someone else. MGM's most expensive vulnerability wasn't in their servers, it wasn't in their code. It was a person who followed procedure and reset a password because someone on the phone sounded convincing. The scattered spider cases are still working through the courts as of 2026. Some members took plea deals, others are waiting for trial. But the damage is done. The $100 million MGM lost, the $15 million Caesars handed over, and the fact that the most fortified buildings in America got cracked open by a kid with a phone and a LinkedIn page. And the scariest part? The technique still works.